You're playing around a demo and you're losing your mind over it. I made fun of that phenomenon in the early stages of my teachings on baby pips because that's exactly what I was watching over there on that forum. A bunch of know-it-alls that knew nothing. And they're all excited and they're always saying, what happened in the Forex pair over here? What just happened over here? And the people that would be respected, they had the largest threads on it at the time, they'd come out and give you some bullshit excuse. What the hell are you supposed to do with that? Tell me what it's going to do beforehand. Tell me how to trade it right now. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was doing that. So I stepped out there and started giving rules. And those rules were to protect new students. Whenever I talk, whenever I'm promoting something that's new in my repertoire, there's a lot of excitement around it. And people start talking, chit, chit, chit. Well, I know that's the case when you're brand new. And I know that you're watching videos where you see me executing on days that I say don't do it. And it sounds like I don't even follow, ICT doesn't even follow its own rules. No, I follow my fucking rules. I follow my rules, but I have experience. I can navigate. You can't. I can get into a trade, realize I'm wrong, and flip it and go the other direction. In the beginning, you don't have that skill set. It's unrealistic to expect that you would. But when you're brand new, you think you should know it because you watched the fucking video. So now you're you know, and you're initiated now, right? The League of Shadows. You're nothing but a brand new student. That's all. You're a little worm. You haven't even gone through the transformation yet. You're looking around for the next leaf to chew on. You have not got your wings yet. So I protect you as much as I can. But even that doesn't prevent it because you're going to do what you're going to do. And that's why I say your results are yours. If you make money, well done. Don't high five me. You earned it. And when you wreck yourself, don't blame me or my concepts because you fucked it up. You didn't listen. You did something you shouldn't have done. When I lose money, guess whose fault it is? It's fucking my fault. Mine. Nobody else made me lose money. I did. And when I make money, there ain't a motherfucker out there going to share the credit. No other mentor out there told me how I'm making money. So it's not arrogance and it's not less than standard for you to have rules in the beginning and also grow out of those rules later on. It's like training wheels. Okay. Just like I'm teaching you how to trade, read price action in a demo. I leave it up to you to have the maturity and the ability to observe that you are ready to take on real risk with money. But I don't ever tell any of my students to do that. You'll know. And you'll know because you're bored. Not because you're bored and you want to get out there and start making money. You're bored because you keep doing the same things all the time and you don't fear missing out. You don't feel like you have to have the win or the positive return at the end. You're just doing what it is that you know you should be doing. You do the same thing when you go to work. When you're driving to work every single day, you're going there, not thinking about, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm really going to try to impress Carl, I'm going to try to get my promotion. You're not doing that. You know what the fuck you got to do. You got to get there. You got to do the same old bullshit, deal with the same old customers, same old expectations, same old quota. You're not in there trying to reinvent the wheel. You're just going there and doing business as normal. And when the clock says it's time to go home, you punch the fuck out and you go home. That's what trading needs to be like. It needs to be just like that. No Carls on social media, no influence from your family or spouse or buddies. You're focused, you're dialed in, you have rules. You absolutely have to have rules. And in the beginning, you have to have lots of rules. And over time, experience will dictate where you can peel certain rules back and say, okay, I can see that that was a training wheel. I don't need that anymore. So now I can trade on Mondays. I understand what ICT meant when he said don't trade on Mondays. There's levels to the understanding that's required in this. I understand now that FOMC could have really harmed me because my natural tendency was to get in here and think I knew I was expecting this pattern to form, this doji, some kind of animal pattern was suggested it was going to go higher or lower. And none of that made any fucking sense when the report came out and it just went ballistic. So now I can wait for that to occur and then get the lay of the land. Where's the liquidity? Where's the inefficiency? Who are they going to run on next? You'll understand it because you've been doing it enough. You can't just watch 1 month. You can't just watch one video series and hear me talk like this and say, oh, I got to figure it out now. You don't. It's experience led. You cannot condense this into a book. You can't condense it into a teaching series, a workshop, a mentorship. Mentorships ain't going to teach you this. This is you in the charts. This is you exercising control over yourself. That's the part that's expensive. It's not the time invested in learning and watching my videos or anybody else's shit. The expensive part is you going through that pain and that struggle of trying to adhere to rules that keep yourself disciplined and forge discipline and responsibility. And that's the separating factor in successful continuous profits. If you want to make money, you have to be disciplined. You have to have rules. And I'm giving you a scaling where you can go out of the initial rules. What's normal? Every fucking day I can trade. Every single day I can go out there and trade. Now, would I be a good mentor going out there and telling everybody, you need to get out there and trade every fucking day and expect to be profitable every day? That is some grade A bullshit. Human nature is what it is. It's easy to convince yourself that you're going to find something profitable. I know I went through that. I know I have students that have gone through that. I've watched other people who've taught and teach and shit, and they have students that can't figure this shit out either. It's because we, as the person, the human being, we're trying to bring something in that's the barrier. That's the big rock in the road. You're bringing it. I brought it to my own trading, and I held on to it, thinking it was something I should have treasured. And it's bullshit. You got to clear the road of all rocks, every distraction, and you have to have boundaries. You can't go too far to the left. You can't go too far to the right. And you got to stay steady pace. Don't speed ahead. And don't worry about behind you in the rearview mirror, the windshield, what you're looking for. The biggest view is in front of you. And you have to take in all that new information. That's that right side of the chart. But if you're bitching about your performance or worrying about how you should have did this and did that, in your last trade, you're in the rearview mirror and you're missing all this other shit in front of you. I watch live streamers, okay? And it's unbelievably uncanny that they'll do something because they've invited other people to watch them and judge them live. And this is why I watch them. I'm not watching them to learn how to trade. I'm watching the human behavior aspect of it, how they manage themselves, how they manage their trades if they're showing any. And if they do something, whether they made money or didn't make money, the reaction to whatever their chat window says to them says, why didn't you do this or you should have done that? Immediately go into some bullshit defending themselves. And right then and there, I'm fucking trading. I'm trading because they've lost the plot. Or if they go and say, no, it can't go lower here now. It's gonna go higher. It's gonna do this. And as soon as they start being dogmatic about it, that's what I use these live streamers for. Because it's absolutely flawless. It's fucking flawless. I know I'm at peak retail contrarian. And if my system, my method, my multiplier, my model is saying the opposite of what they're saying, or they see nothing on the chart, I'm in there beating the shit out of it. And then all of a sudden, you know what's coming. You want a dose? And there it is. Because they're looking at the rear view mirror. The only time you look at the rear view mirror is when you're journaling. You have to record it right after the experience. When you close down trading, and this is the reason why you have to have sessions. If you go all day full bore, not trying to have any breaks, you are not giving yourself an opportunity to calm down because you're pumping out adrenaline, cortisol, like you are stressing the fuck out of your body. And you could be up there if you're live streaming or if you're in the privacy of your own home and you're jamming the music. You might think you're having a good time and you're not all keyed up, but you are. And this shit will wear your immune system down. You have to rest. You have to allow your body to just relax. Just relax. One of the things that I do breathing exercises, and it's important for you as a trader to understand when you start feeling body symptoms, you know, uh, sweaty palms, maybe heart palpitations, nervousness, jittery, or you can't have anybody talk to you. I mean, I have that generally anyway, but not because I'm keyed up. Because if I want to focus, I can't have another person talking to me. Even when my child is sitting next to me and I'm teaching them, it's just watch and observe. If you have a question, make note of it, and then you can ask me when I'm done. If you take my attention away from what it is I'm doing, I'm not going to deliver like I expect myself to deliver. And I may snap and speak in a manner that is not becoming of a dad or a mentor. So I have to be very cautious, and I have a boundary that I place. This is why I do this. It's very hard managing me. And if you have symptoms while you're trading, or if you're doing analysis and you're feeling heart palpitations, you're getting anxious, you feel like you're dizzy, you start seeing stars because you're over breathing, you're breathing out your CO2. The easiest thing to fix when it's like that, or if you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, is walk away from your charts, go to a different part of your house alone, and tell yourself out loud, there's no emergency and you're fine. And then sit still, put your hand on your pulse and your wrist, find it, and count your heartbeats. You can only think about one thing. If you're physically counting and you're thinking about your heartbeats, yes, it will be probably going really, really fast at the time. Don't worry about that. Don't think about that. That's not heart attack. That's not stroke, but you're going to be thinking that's what it is. I've been there dozens of times and I have let myself go to the emergency room. And as soon as the ambulance would be at my home, I already started feeling better. Because in my mind, I was thinking, if I am having a heart attack, if I'm having a stroke, I'm in the best hands right now. So what's the problem? It was unrealistic fear. And when you trade in these taboo days with no experience, no boundaries, no idea what to do with yourself when you get in these situations, you're going to panic. If you never had a panic attack before, you'll have one on one of these days. Be on the wrong side of CPI and your stop loss didn't work and it's still going up against you. You're going to know exactly what panic attack feels like. Your broker ain't going to help you. They're not going to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Philip. That market was so fast. Here, we're going to give you an exit at your stop loss. We're going to honor that. The fuck they are. They're not going to do that at all. They'll probably be booking you anyway. They want that maximum loss because they're going to keep it. That's the reality of the business. But when you have these symptoms, one of the breathing exercises that I do is I sit still. I usually, get on the floor and I sit in what is referred to as seiza. It's a meditative state. I'm sitting there and I relax myself and I try to let my core, which is like the center of your spine, become real heavy and let it rest and let it go lower. What you're doing is you're relaxing your hips, you're relaxing your lower back, and you pull your shoulders back so that's square, and you pull your chin in so everything's perfectly aligned. And you relax yourself and you take a deep breath, blow it out. Do that 3 times. And then now on the fourth one, you're going to take a deep breath in. And then when you think you have taken in your full breath, there's always a little bit more room to suck in more air. Do it. Hold it. Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. You probably won't be able to do it. But then you let your air come out naturally. You don't force it out like breathing out hard. Just let it fall out. 5 seconds before you do it again. You do that 3 times. Number one, your blood pressure is going to drop immediately. Immediately, that corrects blood pressure. Immediately. And because you're doing it multiple times, 1 minute will have passed. And because you're focusing on your breathing and you're bringing in oxygen and you're not blowing out all your CO2. See, when you hyperventilate or you start seeing stars, you feel like you're going to pass out. When I was younger and I had my first panic attack while I was in the market, I thought for sure I was going to drop dead because I was hyperventilating. I didn't realize I was hyperventilating at the time. It felt like I couldn't breathe, but I was just breathing too much and too fast. and I was blowing out CO2. So your oxygen rich blood is it's too much. And you'll start seeing stars, and all of a sudden you'll have these body tinglings and sensations. And that's all normal. It just means that you just got to slow your breathing down. And that's why you see people that would breathe in a paper bag, because they're bringing in too much oxygen. So it allows their blood levels to regulate. So CO2 becomes at optimal levels with their oxygen level. And then you'll be able to be comfortable, and then you won't panic and scare yourself anymore. So I used to keep a paper bag next to my desk. And if I felt those symptoms, even before I felt them full on, I would just do that. That was my realization that breathing was a real core issue to keeping yourself balanced and focused. It's meditative. And you can meditate while trading. You can meditate while you're doing these things. It manages the emotional tug of war that every trader feels. I don't care who you are, you still will feel that. And these are the things I'm managing. Because I have bipolarism. Like, I swing from one spectrum to the next instantaneously. And sometimes on really bad days, I'll go from one extreme to the next in a matter of minutes. And you don't want to be around me. You do not want to be around me. My family members know this about me. They know my tendencies. They can see it. They can usually hear it coming. And it's very, very hard to manage. And I will not ever take medicine. But when I'm in the market, it allows me to be very focused, very, very focused, because I have my mind on one thing. What is that next price going to do? And I can't panic. I can't have intrusive thoughts coming in. That's why when you hear me talking when we're doing live streams, I'm boring the fuck out of you, because I'm in my element. Like, I know this. I know this stuff. And because it allows me to focus all of my attention, I can't have anything that would cause me anger. I can't have anything unless I'm talking about shit that would trigger me. Like in these spaces where I allow myself unfiltered, where I'll say something that gets me either entertained and I want to make a joke about something that people will say either about me or themselves, or if I see something that's absolutely bullshit and I talk about it, it enrages me. So I get to that point or that extreme. And then obviously you've heard me talk about things that are very emotional, because I'm a human being. I've had loss, I've had pain, I've had real things happen in my life and my family. And I've had really good things that are emotional too. And you've heard me weep and cry, and I have no shame in that. I'm a human being. You want to have those experiences. It makes life much more enrichment of those experiences being in a part of it. But you can have these taboo days take you into a level of panic and fear and paralysis, and you won't know what to do. You won't know what to do. So that's the reason why I told my students, don't trade on FOMC, don't trade on non-farm payroll, don't trade ahead of CPI, don't trade on Mondays. Because if you're brand new, you don't know what's going to happen when you get in that situation. Now, don't take this Twitter space discussion today as a means of, okay, well, I know how to do it. He just equipped me to do it. No, you didn't learn anything from that then. What I'm saying is your breathing is the beginning of every panic attack. And it's also the end of every panic attack. I had the highest form of anxiety after September 11th in 2001. Like, I believe the news, I believe all that stuff. And I was always fearful that my family was in danger. And, I bought into that bullshit. It caused a lot of agoraphobia. And because I had to live two different lives hiding from a gold digger, it just compounded everything. So I would have panic attacks almost every week that literally would send me to the emergency room. Either I was driving there, running red lights, speeding. How I got there without killing anybody or hurting the vehicles is a miracle. But as soon as I got there, it would stop. Because in my mind, I was in a safe place. And you need to do that in your trading. You need to make your trading in your model your safe place, your home. Your home if you're trading your model. You're not at home trading somebody else on a live stream trying to copy them. I can't imagine the level of fucking fear and anxiety that would cause, because you're watching somebody. You don't know the delay is going to come in. You don't know if the connection is going to stay on. I'm gonna trade this guy. He's doing this. He thinks it's gonna go up here. He thinks it's gonna go down here, and then you're gonna take a trade on that. No idea why that person is saying it's going to go here. You don't know if they're really taking a trade in a paper account, practice account, live account. You don't know if they actually entered it at all. And now you're in there. What constitutes holding it? Them saying they still like it when it's moving against them? And all of a sudden you start seeing them turning into a comedy show. Oh, well, meanwhile, you're losing real money. It doesn't feel like a joke to you. You're having anxiety attack. You're having fear grip you in a manner you've never felt before. And you feel powerless. And you don't want to close it because what happens if that guy's right? And then I didn't make any money. I got out when it was a losing position. And then I'm going to hear him say, oh, you dumb fucks. You didn't make any money today. Look at you. You're all losers. You're brokies.